Billboard praises Jungkook's stage power even on TikTok when Billboard decided to spotlight Jungkook's TikTok comeback as proof of his stage power. The global media conversation shifted overnight. This wasn't just about a dance video going viral. It was about a Korean idol, freshly returned from 18 months of military service, commanding the kind of artistic respect usually reserved for legends. By framing Jungkook's 30-second TikTok performance not as a trend, but as a testament to his aura, Billboard confirmed what fans have always known. Jungkook doesn't just move to music, he turns any space into a stage. The numbers alone were staggering. Within 11 hours of posting his dance cover to Cortez's Fashion Remix, Jungkook's video racked up over 23 million views and 6 million likes. For most celebrities, this would have been a career-defining headline. For Jungkook, it was simply another day of proving his magnetic pull. Yet what captivated industry watchers was not only the scale of engagement, but the intensity of his presence. Even on the smallest screen, his body language, timing, and control created the illusion of a live concert compressed into a vertical frame. American outlets marveled at this phenomenon, some even comparing him to icons like Michael Jackson and Beyoncé, whose stage dominance transcended physical space. That Billboard chose to emphasize his performance aura over his digital metrics was a quiet revolution in how K-pop idols are validated in the Western press. No longer was Jungkook simply the face of virality. He was the embodiment of artistry that could travel across formats, continents, and platforms without losing its force. And as BTS's long-awaited reunion in 2026 looms closer, one question lingers in both media circles and ARMY fandom. If Jungkook can shake the internet with a single TikTok, what seismic impact will he have when he steps back onto a world tour stage with BTS? The deeper you look into Jungkook's TikTok comeback, the more it feels like a preview of something bigger, almost like a spark before an explosion. Billboard's recognition wasn't accidental. It was a calculated acknowledgement that Jungkook represents a new generation of performers who are not bound by traditional venues. In 2025, the boundaries between digital and physical stages are dissolving, and Jungkook is proving he can dominate both with equal force. What fascinated US media the most was the contradiction at the heart of his performance. Here was a superstar with world stadiums waiting for him, choosing instead to film a dance video in a dimly lit studio with nothing more than his natural charisma, a beat, and the weight of expectation. No backup dancers, no flashy sets, no expensive CGI tricks, just Jungkook. And yet, in that stripped-down simplicity, he managed to eclipse entire productions. That's what Billboard meant when they talked about stage power, an aura that doesn't need embellishment because it radiates from within. The collaboration aspect also deepened the impact. Jungkook wasn't dancing to a BTS track, but to Cortez's Fashion, a song from HYBE's new boy group. Fans began questioning whether this was subtle promotion for his juniors or a genuine creative choice. Either way, it amplified the spotlight not just on him, but on the entire HYBE ecosystem. Even Stray Kids' Bang Chan jumped into the conversation, praising the performance in a fan chat and proving that Jungkook's influence wasn't limited to ARMY. It extended across the K-pop industry itself. And yet, for all the chatter, the emotional undertone of his TikTok return can't be ignored. This was his first post since December 2023, and his first as a fully discharged soldier. For many fans, seeing him dance again wasn't just entertainment, it was reassurance. A silent message that Jungkook was back, stronger than ever, carrying the weight of military duty behind him and the anticipation of BTS's 2026 comeback ahead of him. It felt like the beginning of a new chapter, one where he's not only the golden magne of BTS, but a performer carving his own indelible mark on the global stage. And so the question becomes unavoidable. If a single TikTok clip can dominate headlines, spark cross-industry conversations, and draw Billboard's validation, what will happen when Jungkook finally reunites with BTS and unleashes that same stage power on arenas and stadiums worldwide? Will the internet even be able to contain it, or will it break under the sheer force of his presence? The story doesn't end with numbers and headlines. It deepens with symbolism. For years, ARMY has described Jungkook's performances as more than choreography, more than music. They are living testaments of emotion, discipline, and charisma that transcend cultural borders. And his return on TikTok proved that this essence remains intact even after the long silence of military service. When Billboard chose to focus on his stage power, they were acknowledging something that millions of fans already felt in their bones. Jungkook's gift lies not in fleeting trends, but in the timeless ability to move people, regardless of platform or context. This makes his timing even more poetic. With BTS's long-awaited 2026 comeback on the horizon, Jungkook's TikTok performance reads almost like a teaser trailer for what's to come. His movements carried the weight of a man who has endured, returned, and now stands at the edge of an even greater stage. The dimly lit room wasn't just a backdrop, it symbolized transition. From the shadows of enlistment into the spotlight of a new era, Jungkook's steps to fashion were more than a dance. They were a declaration. Us. Outlets couldn't help but compare his presence to Western icons, a move that sparked controversy and pride in equal measure. Was it fair to place Jungkook in the same sentence as Michael Jackson or Beyoncé? Fans debated endlessly online. Some argued the comparisons were overdue, others felt they missed the point. Jungkook wasn't replicating anyone's magic. He was creating his own. And if Western journalists were finally acknowledging it, perhaps it meant the world was ready to accept that BTS's youngest member was now standing shoulder to shoulder with history's greatest performers. Even the global fashion narrative tied itself to his TikTok return. After dominating Calvin Klein's runway in New York just weeks before, Jungkook appeared on TikTok in casual attire, almost anti-fashion in its simplicity. And yet, somehow, the world was once again talking about what he wore, what he represented, how his image could dictate trends with a single appearance. The message was loud and clear. Jungkook didn't need designer suits or grand production to capture attention. He was the brand, the phenomenon, the axis around which conversations turn. So, where does this leave the industry? If Jungkook can break TikTok with one post, redirect fashion discourse with one outfit, and earn Billboard's respect with one performance, what happens when BTS returns as a full force? Are we on the cusp of the biggest cultural reset since their initial global domination in 2018? Or has Jungkook's individual momentum already written the script for what comes next? Every frame of Jungkook's TikTok return seems to carry a double meaning, almost like a coded message to fans and the industry alike. It was not simply a dance to fashion. It was an artistic declaration, one that said, "I am still here. I am still the stage." That's why Billboard's choice of words hit so hard. By emphasizing his stage power, they weren't just complimenting him. They were legitimizing an entire moment in pop culture where one man, in a bare studio, eclipsed the hype of every polished release around him. The emotional resonance for fans was palpable. ARMY, who had waited through the silence of enlistment, flooded social media with reactions, many of them confessing that watching Jungkook move again felt like witnessing the return of a heartbeat they'd been missing. Some even described it as the moment the countdown to BTS's comeback officially began. TikTok, once just another app for passing time, transformed overnight into the first stage of Jungkook's re-entry into the entertainment world.